Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth and today is October 1st. So I've decided that I'm going to start a couple of things today. The first thing is that because I have so many videos that I need to do in the way of wrap-ups and the rest of my summer book hauls and a few tags I'm behind on, that I am going to go ahead and do VEDO, which is a video every day in October. And then for the first 2 weeks of October, there's a readathon going on that sounds really neat. It's called the Cozyathon. Now, that doesn't have anything to do with cozy mysteries. It's because it's the first, it's the beginning of fall and it's a cozy time of year. So there are several challenges, not so much about what kind of books you read, but how you read them and where you are when you read them. So that readathon is sponsored or hosted by Silvia Kay, and after I get this video done, when I go back to the computer, I'll be able to put some links in to her channel down below, and I will just let you go and look at that, and so if you want to see what the challenges are, because I'm not going to spend time on this video telling you what all the challenges are. I just am going to do one challenge every day for the first 15 days of October and let you know about them as I do my video each day. Meanwhile, I will also accomplish all of these other things that I've been wanting to do, and today's video is going to be primarily me showing you part 2 of my October TBR. Yesterday, I did a video showing you the audiobooks that I am planning to listen to in October, and then today I'm going to show you the print books that I'm planning to read for the month. Lost my train of thought, but so that's my plan, is to tell you each day about the challenge. So today, the challenge number 1 was to read a book in a coffee shop, and I did that. Today, my daughter Emily and I went to Books A Million, where they have a coffee shop inside called Joe Muggs. Now, I had intended to film some footage. In fact, I was just going to do this whole video on my old camera, but I got there with my camera and I had no SD card, so you'll just have to take my word for it that I went. But after I read a couple of chapters in a book, she was getting restless, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to read for very long. And by the way, what I did read was the first 2 chapters in Isla and the Happily Ever After. Now, most of what I read was chapter 1, because if you've ever read this, you may recall that chapter 2 is just one line, but I read that chapter, so I got that done, and then we went and did a little bit of shopping. Now, I won a $50 gift card for Books A Million from our local library just a couple of weeks ago after completing the Around the Shelves in 80 Days challenge. I think because I completed the whole thing, I got a total of 7 entries into the contest. They gave away 3 different prizes, and so one of my tickets was drawn and I won the $50 gift card. So it's really cute. The card, it says Carpe Librum, seize the book. So that's awesome. And I only spent a little of it today because they didn't have all of the books that I wanted. Plus, I noticed that on the last day of the Cozyathon, one of the challenges is to buy yourself a book. And so I'll go back in a couple of weeks and get another book or 2. But what I got today, in my Books A Million bag, I got the newest Jan Karon book. This is To Be Where You Are, and it is a Mitford novel, so it's going to continue on from the wonderful Mitford series that I love, and I am super excited about it. Okay, so now I want to show you what I am planning to read this month. I am going to go ahead and carry over 3 series books that I did not get read for series September. One of them is Isla and the Happily Ever After, because that's the last one in that trilogy. Then a couple of duologies that I need to read one more of is The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Ahdieh, and then a really old one, Oliver Story by Eric Segal, and this is also a duology continued from Love Story, which was very popular back in the 70s. So I'm going to go ahead and read those this week. I hope to get all 3 of them read within the next 7 days, and then I can move on to some standalone books, because that is my focus for this month. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and start on my audio standalones. I showed you those yesterday, and I actually haven't started one yet today because the book I finished last night, I was so sleepy. I was listening to Endure by Sarah B. Larson, the 3rd book in the Defy trilogy, and I kind of fell asleep asleep. I got to the end of it, but I kind of was dozing on and off. So today I've been listening to some of that again, just so that I can really for sure say that I finished it and got it all, sunk in. So I will probably, though, before the end of the day, start another audiobook. I just have a little bit more of that I want to listen to. Okay, so moving on. I had one other book that I had intended to read last week during Banned Book Week, but it's a standalone, so it was on my list of standalone books that I wanted to read this year anyway. So I'm just bumping it to this month. It's The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. And yes, I am aware that it is going to have some bad language and things like that, which I'm not a fan of. But thank you to those of you guys who warned me about it. But I'm still going to read it, and I'm going in with my eyes open. So I can't complain if I already know that there's probably going to be some aspects of it that I'm not going to be crazy about. Okay, so then a reread I have this month is The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows. I listened to this on audio for book club maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I don't remember it. And so then more recently, like in the last year, I've heard several other booktubers talk about reading it, and they are just raving about it and loving it. And I remember enjoying it, but I don't remember anything about it because I listened to it on audio and it just didn't really sink in. It's an epistolary novel, all done in letters, and so I am going to just sit down and read it. I'm not going to try to listen to it again. I'm going to read it this time, and I will probably, hopefully, get more out of it this time. And then the next 4 are books that I don't know anything about. I just bought them, I think, all at library book sales, and either the cover, the title, or the author caught my attention, and I am going to get these read this month. Miss Scarlett's School of Patternless Sewing by Kathy Cano Murillo. Pigtopia by Kitty Fitzgerald. Quite a Year for Plums by Bailey White. This was my author by. I've read 2 of her books before and really enjoyed them, so I hope I like this one. And I had to get this for the title, The Perfect Elizabeth by Libby Schmays. All right, then I have another book that I feel like I know the author, but I don't. I know her aunt. Her aunt is one of my really good friends, and it's by Casey Browning. She, I believe, wrote this when she was still in high school, and now I believe she's in college. She's got some other books on her Goodreads list now, but her aunt has been telling me about it, and I just really want to read it. I believe it's a dystopian book, and I am looking forward to it. I got it from our local library because I believe that either the family gave a book to the library or maybe they bought it. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how that happened. I know, though, that, I knew that because my friend told me that they had a copy in the library, and so I checked it out. Now, these other 2 books are my own, though. They're not from the library, but I bought these because they were written by a friend of mine, Jack Castle. You guys know I've talked about him before. We used to be co-workers. This is his 2nd and 3rd books. The first one I'm going to read is Bedlam Lost. There's a Cozyathon challenge coming up soon for reading a book entirely by candlelight, and this is my shortest book that I want to read in print for this month. So this is probably the one I will read by candlelight. And then this one I'm going to say for Spookathon. I looked at the Spookathon challenges, and I think this one book will meet all of those challenges. It's called White Death by Jack Castle. So then I have 4 other books that I will probably end up postponing simply because they're all 400 pages or more, and I've already met my big book challenge for this year. They are books that I put on my list of 17 books to read in print for this year. So if I can squeeze in 1 or 2 of them towards the end of the month or during the next couple months, then I will. But I'll go ahead and show them to you, and you can tell me if you think I ought to move them up on my TBR or not. This one, Thanks for the Memories by Cecilia Ahern. Cecilia Ahern is one of my collected authors I've never read, and I was going to buddy read this with Laura from Mom to Triplets 04. She can't do it this month, and I probably can't do it next month. So I think we have pretty much agreed that we can wait on this until next month or next year. So because I want to read at least something by her, our library has a couple of her books on audio, so I'll probably just substitute in a different book by Cecilia Ahern and then read this next year with Laura. Another buddy read that I have talked about doing is The House at Riverton by Kate Morton with Elizabeth Tyree. But Elizabeth Tyree, I think, is just coming out of another Kate Morton book, and they're pretty dense. So I don't know if she's going to want to jump into another one that quickly. So if she wants to put this one off till next year, then that'll be great. But if she is ready to do it, then I'm good with going ahead and reading it. Two others that were on my list that I don't know if I'll get to or not: Spindle's End by Robin McKinley, and one of my daughter's books, Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. So those are the standalones I'm definitely going to read this month, or possibly the last four ones I will possibly postpone. I don't know. I have a couple of other series books. If I end up having time to read any of those, then I'll just tell you about those during my Friday reads during the month. So that is all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.